Hi everyone, my name is Aimee Trujillo and I am a senior in the political science department here. And so I applied to the CRSI grant in order to sort of get a start on my research for my senior thesis. And so I will be presenting to you Life of an Undocumented Immigrant in the U.S. And so this summer I partnered with Community Legal Services in East Palo Alto, which is an immigration, it's a law nonprofit in East Palo Alto. And so, to get further into my, is this secretary?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay. To get further into my research project for my senior thesis, more specifically, my research question is, when people think about immigration policy, what characteristics of immigrants affect their immigration policy preferences? So more specifically, what characteristics of immigrants, what characteristics make people believe immigrants are more deserving of having rights, like being able to apply for a driver's license, or having access to government subsidized health care, or even having the right to vote. And so that is the broad question of my project. And so I plan on testing this question through National Representative Survey, and then also through my partnership with CLS-EPA, or CLESPA, and my work with the immigrant community in East Palo Alto this summer. And so more on my community partner, CLESPA. They have a wide range of services for the low-income community in the Bay Area, but I specifically worked with the immigration office. And some of the services that this immigration office provides are help with applications for U visa, for DACA, which is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, removal proceedings, asylum applications, and VAWA, or Violence Against Women Act. And so, kind of a day in the life of my internship there, as you can see me in the window right there. I worked at the reception window, and so what I would do is I would screen potential clients to see if they would be eligible for services that CLESPA offered, and determine if the attorneys there could help them with any sort of relief options in the U.S. And so if not, I would also help to give out referrals to other immigration organizations in the Bay Area. And so when I wasn't doing that, I would also help sort of translating Spanish documents, scheduling appointments with clients, processing and sending legal mail, and calling clients. So towards a wide range of responsibilities of the office. And then when I also wasn't doing that, there was sort of a lot of community service things that CLESPA was involved in as a nonprofit. And this is an example of one of the things we did this summer. We took sort of half a day off of work and we helped build a local park next to the office in East Palo Alto. And so this is a really great experience giving back to the community. And there's us moving wood chips and large tarps. It was really fun. And so, aside from this, when I wasn't helping out with sort of the office duties, I got a lot of help from the attorneys who served as my mentors this summer for my own research. And so they helped set me up with some of their clients for me to do in-depth one-on-one interviews to help inform my own research project. And so I interviewed a variety of different clients, 8 in total. There was some female and male, some were documented, undocumented, different stages of going through the legal process. Some were younger and some were very much older. So they were from different countries, some from Mexico, El Salvador, even the Philippines. And a lot of them were trying to find different relief methods in the US. And so I want to kind of share with you some of the things I learned and some of the results I found through those interviews. And so these were very long, in-depth interviews, maybe 30 to 40 minutes, but one of the most important questions I was asking was, what services would you most desire to be provided in your time here in the United States? And so this was kind of crucial to my research project. So one woman said, I think it's medical for everybody. She said that as an undocumented immigrant in the US, you don't have access to subsidized health care, and so not only are medical services very expensive, but they're very hard to find access to without documentation. So it includes dental, childcare, and elderly care. Another person said having a driver's license is the most important thing in my daily life. Having a driver's license gives you the independence to go out and find a job, to go to your job, to drop your kids off at school. And without having that is a huge detriment. Another young man said, in-state tuition would make getting an education much easier. So clearly undocumented immigrants can't have access to federal financial aid, but they also are usually forced to pay out-of-state tuition, which is incredibly more expensive and usually is a huge detriment. And then lastly, I heard from a bunch of people that having every job requires a social security number. And so if immigrants don't have a social security number, that forces many to find jobs that pay under the table or forces many people to be dishonest, which is not something that they would normally like to be. And so on a more broad level, I kind of want to sum up some of the biggest things I learned from these interviews this summer and dispel some huge myths about immigration and undocumented immigrants in the U.S. And so I think one woman put it very well. If comparing to living in her previous life in Mexico, in a situation to here, I feel much, much safer in here. And I can trust law enforcement and I can trust the police. And so that just shows that so many people, despite going through all the hardships that I just told you about, they seek a life here because it is still so much better than the violence and the corruption they are facing at home. And I think that's crucial for everyone to be aware of and to really empathize with this community and what they're facing. Another person said, I avoid as much as I can to get government help. I feel that I'm here and that I'm not deserving it. And so there's this huge misconception that immigrants, especially undocumented immigrants, are leeching government resources or they're stealing Americans' jobs, which is another myth I'm hoping to try and dispel, because as this one shows, and this really equates with a lot of other people's opinions as well, is that they really are very humbled being here and are just trying to live their lives and not take away from anyone else. And lastly, which this last quote is something that is really motivating my research, is someone said, I don't like being a dishonest person. I want to live an honest life here. And so this is really, really powerful and crucial for a lot of people to understand, because I feel like if the government is able to provide more resources for people to go about their lives legally, then these immigrants can form much more productive lives here in the U.S. and give and contribute to the economy in a much bigger and larger way. And being able to do that in an honest way is also much better for their own psychological well-being and their whole family as well. And so moving forward, the next steps of research with my senior thesis, like I mentioned before, is my nationally representative survey that I plan on putting out on Amazon's survey software, Turk, which allows me to get thousands of responses for maybe like 10 cents, 20 cents each, which is great. And the data analysis part, which I hope to find meaningful patterns in the data and produce very good figures in R. And then also this will lead to, lastly, the communication. And I really hope to synthesize my statistical findings with these personal stories I learned about this summer to create a compelling argument for immigration policy change, which I am very passionate about and I believe is so important at this point in time. And lastly, I want to thank everyone who helped me in the process, everyone at CLASPA, including Aimee, the directing attorney who came to watch me today, and my thesis advisor, Lauren Davenport. Thank you so, so much. Thank you for listening.